The pensions landscape is changing in 2025. Let's look at some of the key changes. First up is ever more cash back if you're willing to transfer between providers. Here's one example, which is Hargreaves Lansdown. They'll offer you up to £3,000, providing you register an interest before the 10th of January, and you'll get your money in December 2025, providing you haven't transferred away by then, unless your transfer actually hasn't completed. And later on in this video, we'll give you some tips on pension transfers, but it can be worthwhile consolidating your personal pensions in order to save money and streamline your investments. Next up is the introduction of a fee-free SIP. So Invest Engine, which just uses ETFs as an investment vehicle, will have no account charges and no fees to trade. So they claim that the total cost is free, believe it or not. And they've done a comparison here against some of the other big names. And we've got Interactive Investors currently number 2. So if you want something that is maybe a bit more functional, then that might be a good option for you. And we've got Hargreaves Lansdown coming in at over £6,000 more over 20 years for certain types of investors, depending on how many trades you make. So this is quite an interesting proposal, but it's actually an accumulation only pension. At the moment, they don't offer any drawdown. So maybe if you're young, it might be suitable for you. Maybe if you're not investing much money, then the fact that you're not paying a monthly fee might be suitable, and then you can always transfer out when you do need to go into drawdown. But on the fees side of things for Vanguard, they've now changed their fees, and they're putting in a minimum £4 a month fee for invested balances under £32,000. So this is clearly discouraging people just starting out on their personal pension journey. And I think it's another example of Vanguard not really listening to their customers and not really making sense in some of the things that they've done. In the past, they've cancelled certain ETFs. And again, I'll say it, Vanguard are pants. So Invest Engine are making it easy for you to transfer your SIP. You literally just press a button and you start your transfer. And my tips for transferring a pension would be, first of all, make sure that the provider you're transferring into does have all the funds that you want to transfer over. And if it's an open-ended investment company, it needs to be the exact same class of share. Before you transfer, I'd recommend maybe streamlining your portfolio if you've got a few funds that you're not that keen on anyway. And if you've got income funds, that might cause a problem because they might wait for you to receive a dividend before doing the transfer if a dividend has been declared and not paid. So you need to kind of look out for that. So it's probably best to phone your pension provider, the one you're going to transfer to, and ask them the best way to get a smooth and quick transfer. Otherwise, you could be out of the market for quite a long time if you have cash within your pension. So generally these take a couple of weeks, but for some complicated transactions, they can end up taking a few months. So next up in 2025, we've got the state pension increase. It's going to go up on April the 6th from £11,502 a year to £11,973, a 4.1% increase under the triple lock, which gives you the higher of 2.5% earnings growth or price inflation. And it looks like the triple lock is hanging on for grim death, and it does still exist. So it's good news for pensioners, maybe bad news for some others that might be affected by the inflationary pressures that it causes. So you can purchase prior year's national insurance contributions, and until the 5th of April 2025, you can go way back to April 2006, when normally you can only go back 6 years. So it's well worth looking into checking your state pension, seeing how many years of national insurance you have, particularly if you're female and you've been looking after children. You need to make sure that you have got all the national insurance credits that you are entitled to. If you need to buy an extra year, it depends on what year you're buying. I think the maximum cost is around about £907, and it can add about £328 a year to your pension pot. So the payback period is less than 3 years, and it's definitely worth considering. So some instances where it might not be worthwhile considering are if you're looking to retire abroad, then some countries don't index your state pension, so that makes it slightly less valuable. And what I'm going to do is wait until I'm nearer to 67 and then see how many years of national insurance I've built up between now and then, because what might happen is that if you start a side hustle in retirement, that could end up generating, say, £1,000 a month, and then you will meet the lower earnings limit for national insurance, and so you'll get the credits, and there wasn't actually any need to buy the extra years. So if you're like 55 and you're missing a year from when you were like 40 or something, or 45, it's probably not worthwhile buying that just yet, because you might find that you end up getting enough years anyway. The next change is that the Financial Conduct Authority wants to promote more help with decision making when people come to access their pensions. There's a claim that many people feel they can't afford to pay a financial advisor, or they don't seem to appreciate the benefits of proper financial planning upon retirement. And the possible way that the FCA is going to work is they're going to try and get more support through pension providers giving information to their customers, but that might be problematic in some cases because they're only going to push the products that they offer. So particularly in the case of Vanguard, with quite a limited product offering, that might be problematic for some retirees. And I think that as a financial coach, that doesn't sit that well with me. And I think that people need someone that's truly independent, someone that offers transparent pricing, someone that can demonstrate value for money. The problem with coaches is that they're not regulated, but you should look up the coach on LinkedIn and you'll find out that, like for myself, I've been an accountant for 30 years. And if my offering is quite clear, then you should be able to see how it can help you. So take a look at my website, sign up to my newsletter, and see if the services I have to offer could be of benefit to you.